Let's now go to the labor front, where government through the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations has denied placing an embargo on recruitment of public sector workers.
The Sector Minister Haruna Idrisu, at the inauguration of the board of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission Accra, indicated recruitment of staff for the health and education sectors despite challenges in the economy.
Early this year, some sections of public sector employees criticized the government for placing embargo on recruitment into the service. This, the sector minister denied.
Employment into major sectors such as health and education are not affected, and therefore government continues to recruit and to absorb where appropriate and necessary persons into those sectors.
The minister recounted the immeasurable role of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission for 4 years without a board, and was hopeful the new board will help reduce strikes in the public service. He asked the board to initiate discussions with the Judicial Service Staff Association to consider them as an essential service.
I recommend to the commission to consider roping in the judicial service as a critical and essential government service provider, and it should be difficult for them to disturb the industrial peace and harmony in the administration of justice in the country, because that governance institution, if it is not running, can have dire consequences on the governance of our country.
Board Chairman Will Kemevo assured to introduce pragmatic strategies.
We are also not unaware of the spate of agitations, issuing of ultimatum, threats of strike action, and actual strikes by sections of organized labor. Been following with keen interest the efforts made by successive ministers of employment and labor relations.
Also, on the Minister of Employment and Labor Relations has directed the National Pensions Regulatory Authority to within 14 days issue investment guidelines to all registered schemes under the second-tier pension scheme.
Well, Haruna Idrisu is of the view the speedy release of investment guidelines will facilitate the process of accruing contributions for pensioners before the end of this year.
The sector minister Haruna Idrisu made the observation at the official inauguration of the boards for the management of the second-tier pension scheme. The minister recalls the banter between the 12 labor unions and government, which ended up in court. Although government has sought an out-of-court settlement, it is yet to pay all monies lost by the unions during the agitations as directed by the court. The education, health, judicial and the civil service schemes have been inaugurated to pave way for transfer of funds.
Let me also request the NPRA to, as a matter of urgency and not later than 14 days, that you issue investment guidelines. This should not walk past your next board meeting, and it should have appropriate approval in order that the money will be invested and used judiciously, and better returns by way of lump sum is returned to many.
He again directed the NPRA and the various chairpersons for the registered schemes to facilitate the transfer of funds from the Bank of Ghana to the schemes.
What is important for workers of the forum is transfer of the 5% tier 2 monthly deductions made directly to Country Accountant General, and what is in the custody of the Bank of Ghana since this exercise began. Transfer of funds from the temporary pension fund account at the Bank of Ghana to the 4 schemes must proceed forward without any further delay or explanation from government.
Coordinator of the 12 labor unions, Abu Kuntolo, charged the government to desist from changing CEOs of the NPRA to allow smooth operation of the schemes.
No matter what, we want to see the days where the chief executive continue to act and perhaps being removed at the acting. There's something that should come to change that. When that is done, then we can then see the seriousness about workers' pensions, which is about one of the decent pillars of social protection.
A former Deputy Minister of Employment, FWSC Setre, underscored the role of social dialogue in addressing labor disputes.
Workers going on pension have income security on which they will live their old age after hard work done for the state. And I think that it is only fair and proper that I thank all those who have worked tirelessly to ensure that this conflict came to an end